DJ Lagway was benched on Saturday night and should not be the starting quarterback this week.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast and Network, and now the #1 sports podcast and network. And I am Brandon Olson, daily, free, wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Happy Tuesday. I guess happier Tuesday. It's weird. I feel like usually I'm pretty good about going, oh, like that loss sucked. Let's move on. But that loss was that demoralizing where I'm still pretty pissed about it. Just to be honest, I think that was one of the worst losses in a very long time. DJ Lagway got benched in that game after he's played 9 games this year, and one of them has been a game where we can look at it and we can say, oh, that was a good game. I think it was Texas was the one game where we can look at and say, oh, that was a good game. Long Island, come on now. Like even the Long Island game, I was like, look, he had some misses very few misses, but his misses were pretty bad. He ran into pressure, ran into a sack on the first play. He's been playing bad. I was gonna say, oh, he's been playing bad. He's been playing bad just in general. And I know that yesterday, after talking about the benching and all that, I know that there were comments saying like, oh, like now you're turning on him. Now you guys are turning on him. Now you're this. I have been abundantly clear the entire time that I've covered this team. The entire time that DJ Lagway has been a Florida Gator, I've been very clear that my stance on him is that incredibly physically talented, but he needed a lot of work, right? That he was good for a freshman, but not good in general. All that stuff was like that's why when we see what we see now, it's not very surprising. I don't think enough people put stock into the Tulane game, where Tulane just went, hey, you know what? We're gonna take away the top, and you need to beat us underneath. And sure, he had 300 yards still. It wasn't because he was playing lights out football, right? He still threw 2 picks in crucial moments. This wasn't as much of a sure thing as I think a lot of people thought. And I was saying last year that, hey, they're not playing sustainable football with him. He got benched against Kentucky after another 9 games of not playing sustainable football, or we'll say 8.5, of not playing sustainable football. And it's not as simple as, oh yeah, he's making bad passes. It's not as simple as he's staring down receivers. Even when he makes the right decision, it's usually an inaccurate ball at this point. He's wildly inaccurate. Sure, some of it's probably going to come down to the shoulder that's been bothering him forever. Some of it's going to come down to his mechanics that are just awful. Some of it's going to come down to him being in his head. And I don't want to hear, like, I've said that before, and there's someone that was like, oh, he's not in his head. He's in his head. If you watch any of these games, after DJ Lagway throws a pick, which there's a lot of them now, he's leading the country in it. But when you watch him throw a pick and then you see him after, he looks beyond frustrated. Like he looks like if you've ever gone to the park and you're just shooting around, or even if you were playing games at the park and your shot's just not falling. And after a while, you're like, oh, like that's a good shot, but it's not falling. I don't get it. Like, even when those things happen, and then then you start forcing some stuff, and you just really you crumble a bit, and you got to work yourself back into it. That was the logic for a lot of people behind benching DJ Lagway, was bench him for a couple possessions, let him settle in on the sideline, let there be a Florida Gators offense without him on the field, and let's see how it goes. Like, let him do that, and then bring him back in. Sure, it doesn't need to be a permanent benching. I don't think he should start this week. That's where I'm at. Tramell Jones came in for DJ Lagway in relief. I would prefer to see Tramell Jones start. And this isn't me being like, oh, I'm out on DJ Lagway. It's not that at all. I refuse to say that I'm out on him. I've said this many times before. Like, I still think he's good. I would still take him back next year. Like if he wants to be a Gator again next year, like I'd gladly take him back. I don't know if coming back here is the best thing for him, but as a Florida Gators fan, I'll still say immensely physically talented, needs work. And again, he's fixable. I don't think he's as broken as some people are making it seem. I think that it's fairly simple that injuries destroyed his mechanics, and he has not gotten those back to this point. And when I say injuries destroyed his mechanics, what I'm talking about is, he's had he's had shoulder issues, he's had oblique issues, he's had leg issues, like ankle issues, hamstring, whatever it may be. He's had all these issues, right? And when you're trying to do something pretty mechanically, and it's like, all right, well, you got your plant, your drive, throw it. Like when you're not fully healthy and when you can't fully plant, your body will automatically start to try to adjust, right? It's not necessarily you going, that hurts a bit. Let me try it this way. No, it's your body is usually just going to essentially take over and say, hey, that hurts. Let's try this and see where it doesn't hurt. And where it doesn't hurt isn't mechanically sound. It's not mechanically clean. And so your passes are errant. You're not there. Fix the mechanics and a lot will come back for DJ Lagway. Okay. That's why like he didn't all of a sudden not become a talented football player. Right? Like he didn't all of a sudden not become someone who isn't capable of completing a pass. His mechanics are shot. He should probably physically just sit out the rest of the year and just get right as much as he can for spring ball. Because I mean, the thing with him is like he needs work in the off season that isn't just going to a quarterback trainer. The biggest thing with him, even after 2024, was not his mechanics. It was not the issues. Like these mechanical issues, they showed up on film, but not nearly to the extent that they do now. Now it's very common. Last year, it wasn't very common. They were there, but not very common. I think that he needs just time to sit back, get right, and get healthy, and just come back ready to work, which I do think he'll be able to do. Like that's not a surprise to say that DJ Lagway will be ready to work. I think a lot of people still believe that he's a hard worker. I don't think that's changed. It's really just as simple as he's played awful football this year. That's all it comes down to for me. I am very simple with this. He's played awful football this year. I would like him to not do that for the rest of the year. And this also isn't like a typical guy struggling here and there. Like this is a guy that's struggling in every area. He is. He's struggling reading the defense, knowing where he could fit the ball, everything. It's just shot right now. He needs a bit of a reset. And I will also say that Billy Gonzalez had mentioned in the press conference on Monday that, it's not permanent benching. We expect DJ Lagway to take the reps with the ones this week going into Ole Miss. And, I believe that as a coach, if a player is consistently hurting themselves or consistently messing up or whatever the exact words he used, I forgot. But if he's consistently doing that, then at that point as a coach, it's your job to take that out of his hands and go, you know what, you need to sit for a little bit. And I think that was a great approach for Billy Gonzalez. It really was to take DJ Lagway out, something that Billy Napier didn't do and was never going to do. Like Billy was never going to take Lagway out because Lagway was so important for Billy keeping his job. And so it was going to be, hey, live by Lagway, die by Lagway. That's it. Like that's what we were banking on. Which is just another part of where it went so wrong for Billy Napier, because if you go, hey, I'm going to live with my play calling or die with my play calling, and I'm going to live with DJ Lagway or die with DJ Lagway, it feels like you're doing a bit too much of the I'm taking a hard stance here. This is how we're doing it. And if it doesn't work this way, that's fine. We'll deal with the consequences, but we're doing it this way, whether or not it works. 2 of those situations, that's too many. That's too many. I think that 1's fine. 2, yeah, that's brutal. We're going to talk more about this quarterback situation for the Florida Gators and Billy Gonzalez saying that there might be an open quarterback competition when we get back with Locked On Gators. College football is wrapping up, unfortunately, for Florida Gators fans. We've seen some rough ones, right? But you still got the tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands. Like, there's still nothing like it. And let's be real, actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. With endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees, so that what you see is what you pay. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code Locked On College. That's LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free rivers in the podcast and on YouTube. And we're still talking about DJ Lagway, Tramell Jones. We'll talk a little bit about what the rest of the offense is dealing with off of that. We're going to talk about basketball to wrap up today's show. But yeah, I think that when we talk about Billy Gonzalez saying, yeah, like we're taking DJ Lagway out for a little bit, and you know, maybe he'll come back. First off, they could have said, hey, we're going to take him out for 3 drives. Florida only had 3 drives in the second half. That's it. Kentucky took almost 8 minutes off the clock to start the second half. Florida killed the rest of the third quarter with their first drive. And then, of course, you know, Kentucky kept killing clock and Florida kept not so much. But I think that when we talk about DJ Lagway and Tramell Jones, like maybe DJ was meant to just sit a few possessions. I think he should sit more. Again, like my thing isn't that DJ Lagway is not fixable. I believe he's fixable. I don't see any reason for him to be the starter right now. I don't. He doesn't bring anything to the table right now that is worth it. There's just too much negative around him right now to say, yeah, bring him in, let's start him again, and let's run this back one more time. That's a bad idea. It's a bad strategy. And I'm going to say this. Sure, Billy Gonzalez said that we expect him to take reps with the ones, that there might be some kind of competition there at quarterback. I'm not mad if DJ Lagway is starting. It wouldn't be the decision that I would make if it were up to me. And I disagree with it. Like that's where I'm at. Like, I don't think that DJ Lagway has done enough to show he should still be the starter. I think that when you get benched because you're playing so poorly and, you know, let's say you've been playing average for the entire season. You have a really bad game and a half, and a coach goes, hey, you know what, we're gonna take you out for a little bit. We're gonna let you rest. We're gonna let you work, and then come back in. That's fine. But what we just saw was a quarterback struggle for 8.5 games and then get taken out. And I think that's very different. I think that's you getting benched because you're not playing well enough. That's you getting benched because you're playing horrendously. And I think at that point you go, all right, you got benched because of your play. Earn playing time because of your practice. Like earn that back. Because this playing time stuff is not getting handed out to anybody. And I'm not blaming DJ, right? Like, that's a coaching decision. That's a coaching decision. That's not for me to go, oh, DJ's fault. I'm not doing that. But I think that this is just, I feel like it's safe to say, like, yeah, like this has probably run its course. And again, I hate it. Like, I would gladly take DJ Lagway back. I think that he's still got the potential to be great. But like I said yesterday, and like I said Saturday after the game, and like I've said weeks ago, writing for Swamp Signal, was I just don't know if he's fixable at Florida. Like I just know that, and you could say that I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty confident that I'm right. At least with the part of saying, like, with the relationship with the fans, like fans have really started to turn on DJ. which not surprising, right? You played awful football for 9 games as a starting quarterback. You're going to catch backlash. And I just think that it's one of those things where you can come back and play well for a few weeks or a month or two, and then you have one bad game. People are going to come right back at you. I just don't know if he's fixable here, honestly. I think he might need a fresh start, just and a program where he doesn't have what feels like and seems like the weight of the world on his shoulders. And I think and I'm saying that for him. For Florida, he's still talented. You should still try to get him and fix him. For him, I don't know if that's the right call for him. Which is what it is, right? And whoever the head coach is, maybe they'll have a say in that. Maybe they'll have a part in that. But yeah, I especially think that when we've got like boosters speaking out on social media, being like, "Oh, DJ Lagway's not it. DJ Lagway ain't it. He's not worth the money we're giving him." I think that this is just one of those situations where it could be completely amicable and cut it, and just call that one a day. Billy Gonzalez in the press conference also mentioned that Trey Wilson will basically miss the rest of the season. Said he's getting tightrope surgery, which is an ankle surgery that you get when there's a really bad sprain or a fracture. And so Trey Wilson suffered the injury against Georgia, finished the game against Georgia, but yeah, out for the rest of the season, as if offense wasn't hard enough. That's what you got. I really don't know what the offense does the rest of the way. I don't. Receivers injuries have piled up. This past weekend, you had J. Michael Sturdivant, Vernal Brown III, TJ Abrams, and Aiden Mizell playing most of the snaps there, but Aiden Mizell is clearly not healthy. He's like limping around wherever he is on the field. And like, kudos to him for playing, right? Because he's someone who I feel like for over a year now, we've heard a lot of Aiden Mizell needs to play more. Aiden Mizell should play more. Aiden Mizell should play more. He's fast. Let him out there. Let him run. And he hasn't gotten that playing time. But I think that he knows that there's that kind of support for him. And so I think it's very frustrating. Or I would be very frustrated, at least, if there was that kind of public support for me. And I still wasn't getting playing time despite all the injury or getting enough playing time. I'd be frustrated with it. So, and I'm saying that not to say that I think he'll leave or anything, because I don't think that. But I am saying that to say that for him to be as frustrated as he probably is, again, I'm speculating here, but I can imagine it'd be really frustrating. And to not be getting the playing time and to be now hurt and playing through it, I commend him. But behind those four, there's Moise Tonkara and Nate Montgomery, 2 true freshmen who are unproven. So I generally don't like relying on true freshmen for things, but that is what it is. Like, I was gonna say, do you lean into more like 21 personnel, like 2 running backs, 1 tight end, and 2 receivers? But even running back injuries have piled up. Do you lean more into 12 personnel? Just say, hey, we're going to put Jaden Ball, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers on the field, and just keep guys fresh and rotating? Because you can do that. At tight end, you can have your 3-man rotation between Amir Jackson, Tony Livingston, and Hayden Hansen, of course, who will be on the show tomorrow. And a receiver, you've got your basically 6, right? Between Sturdivant, VB3, TJ Abrams, Aiden Mizell, Moise Tonkara, and Nate Montgomery. Is that what offense looks like? Like, whether it's DJ or Tramell Jones, this offense is going to have to fight for every inch and every yard. And this defense, by the way, who we haven't spoken much about, but this defense, by the way, needs to figure out what they want to do. Because that game against Kentucky, I know that we spoke about this from basically week 3, right? Where if your offense isn't going to give you anything, at a certain point, your defense is going to break, and it's not going to be fixable. I hope Kentucky wasn't that, but we'll find out versus Ole Miss how bad they really want to play and how bad they really want to win, because that was embarrassing. From a fan perspective, that was embarrassing. I can only imagine what it was like as a player. We're going to talk about the Florida Gators basketball team taking on Florida State tonight when we get back with Locked On Gators. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. And it keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Like I've said it before, Knicks down 6-10 at the start of the fourth. I'm betting Jalen Brunson points because I know he's about to put up a lot of shots. Might not hit him, but he's going to put up a lot. So I'm going to go with that. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free reviews in the podcast and on YouTube. And to wrap up today's show, we are talking about the 1-1 Florida Gators taking on the 2-0 Florida State Seminoles tonight, which we will be going live immediately after, by the way. But I will say for this game, Florida State is... let's just start with this. Florida State's the most threatening they've been in a while. I feel like for a while we've gone, oh yeah, like they're big, athletic, but they're not going to keep up with Florida style of play. Pretty much since Todd Golden got hired, we were like, all right, well they're not gonna be able to keep up with Florida style of play. Now Florida State, way more analytically driven, we'll say. They shoot a ton of threes, and they go fast. Like at this point in the season, which again, we're only 2 games in for each team, Florida State goes more up tempo than Florida, or has a faster offense than Florida, barely, but faster offense than Florida. And from 3, they're destroying. Like Florida State shooting 40% from 3 this year, Florida shooting 22%. That stylistic mashup is going to matter. And Florida State, by the way, is shooting more threes than Florida, and in terms of like frequency of shots, like 53% of Florida State's shots are threes, 39% for Florida. Which that part's fine, but the shooting percentage is awful. And when you have a bad shooting percentage plus volume, that's even worse, right? If we're a team that we're going to shoot 22%, but we're only going to take 10 threes in a game, and it's like, all right, at least it's only 10 threes. It's 8 misses at that point. Instead, you got Florida. It's like, let's shoot 30 of them. And when you're shooting 22% and you're shooting a bunch of threes, that's just really bad for your offense. That's one of the reasons that Florida has been pretty good in terms of offensive rebounding volume, but Florida is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country still. Florida State hasn't played anybody yet, which is one of the reasons that I go, yeah, like they're more threatening. I'm not going to say they're good. I don't know if they're good. I have no idea. They played Alcorn State and Alabama State. Both of those teams suck. So I will take it with a grain of salt how good Florida State is. But stylistically, they're a really good matchup against Florida right now. Because Florida is a team where they're still going to shoot their threes. They're not shooting them at a nearly high enough percentage to justify it. They're not shooting them at a nearly high enough percentage to say that they're good shots. But they're shooting those threes a lot. And I think that when we talk about Florida right now and Florida State, it's like, well, Florida State, like 3 is more than 2, right? That's the big analytical thing when everybody goes, oh, because of analytics, everybody shoots threes now. And it's like, yeah, because 3 is more than 2. It's as simple as that. And so I think that when you look at that, like Florida should still dominate on the offensive glass, which I do think that there's a way for Florida to say, we need to slow this game down a little bit, which I know isn't their forte. It's not what they love to do, but I think you got to embrace that a little bit. Maybe not necessarily, we're not going to sit here and burn off the entire shot clock, but just when you're in the half court, just get set, run a set. You can do it early in the clock, but run a set that tries to get you to the rim. With Florida State, how aggressive they are. They foul a ton right now. So Florida State fouling a lot, which I know Florida hasn't been great at converting those opportunities. But again, like I think free throws have a lot more value, even if you're missing them, just because on the flip side of free throws, they're getting into foul trouble. In terms of 3-pointers, like if we're shooting threes and missing threes, that's just a miss. If we're shooting free throws, and even if we're missing free throws, shooting 66%, we're getting a point, which still isn't good. Sometimes 2 points, but also they're getting into foul trouble. Like their better players get into foul trouble. You get to play their worst players. That's one of the reasons that fouls so valuable. And I think that when we talk about Florida and Florida State with this, Florida State fouls, Florida can't shoot threes. I think for Florida, you got to go, hey, we're going to hammer the paint early on, try to get them into some foul trouble, try to take away some of their better players, try to get them at least try to get some of their better players into some foul trouble so that their offense can't be as threatening as it has been to this point. I still think that Florida will win this game. I still think that Florida should win this game because Florida is still easily the more talented team. Okay? Florida is it's I think that's one of the frustrating things about it is that Florida is so clearly a very talented team that just can't shoot threes. They can do pretty much everything else really well, except threes and shoot free throws. That's it. Everything else they do pretty well. Like they destroy on the offensive glass. They could protect the ball better, but that first game also was horrendous by like Alex Condon specifically. But like they're still good defenders, still good rebounding in general. Like this is still a great team. But if you don't have that 3-point shooting, it doesn't matter if you're a great team. If you can't shoot threes in 2025 and 2026 when we get to March Madness, you're not going to make it far. It's just stylistically, you're at a big disadvantage. It's like when a team, like, who was it a few weeks ago? Navy in North Texas. It's like, yeah, like North Texas or Navy, they're going to kill clock and grind it out, and they'll put up points pretty consistently. But if North Texas is just going to go, hey, we're going to go up tempo, spread it out, and speed down, and we're going to go attack you. If they're dictating that and they're dictating the scoring pace, you're not going to keep up with them if you're the team that can't shoot threes. You're not going to keep up with them if you're the team that can't throw the football. You got to do that. That's really what it comes down to when we talk about how analytics impacted. It's like, well, analytics said, hey, throwing the football is more efficient and more valuable than running the football. And so they started throwing the football. And they went, hey, shooting threes is more valuable and more efficient than shooting middies. So that's what we're going to do. That's what it is. And if you're the team that can't do those things, you're going to lose games that you probably shouldn't lose. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever it's in the podcast and on YouTube. We will be back later on today to talk after the Florida and Florida State game. We will be back tomorrow. I think we're going to have 2 episodes tomorrow come out. So we got that going. For Locked On Gators, I am Brandon Olson. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI and which Brian Dable fired. So I'm happy about that. And swampsignal.substack.com. And I'll see you all next time.